Alright guys, I want to talk about race week. We are just a couple of days away from race week, and you may even watch this after race week has already started. Number one, I want to explain all the goings on that happen during race week so that you're not left out, so that you can easily find things. I also want to sort of explain the philosophy behind our race week. Again, as I've said before, I'll say it again many, many times, not an arrive and drive series. We take the race is really only a small part of the overall event. Matter of fact, I consider it the cherry on top. Whereas the whole race week is really the whole meal, the whole thing, and we want you to enjoy it, and I want you to get the most out of it. So, first thing with race week is you're going to need to be a member of the league on iRacing. It's the most important thing. You cannot join a session until you have joined that. So for those of you who are new to leagues and maybe you've only raced official, who knows, if you go to the leagues tab here on the home page of iRacing, you can go to the league directory. Okay, and this is obviously mine, so you see what I have available to me. But the major series is the league you're looking for. And right now we've got 916 registered. That's good. We still have some folks out there that have not yet registered and won't be able to access any of the sessions until they do. But anyway, if you come to the league directory here, you just type in majors, and there you have it. It should pop right up. Okay. You can go to it and you can request to join it. One of the admins will approve your registration as quickly as we can. If you do this the minute you're trying to get into a session, I can't promise one of us is going to be available at that exact second to get you in. So, please do this in advance. Make sure you register for the league. Most important thing. Once you've done that, the easiest way to find the sessions during the week are to go to the League Sessions tab. Now, a lot of people, for some reason unknown to me, really like to go to the hosted sessions to find these sessions. Now, when you're in hosted, this is a little weird thing within iRacing. I don't know why it works this way, but when you go to the hosted tab, you can see all of the league sessions. That's cool. That's good. It's sort of like promotion for it, free. And if it's a practice session or a qualifying session, you can join it from the hosted tab. For whatever reason, if you attempt to join a race session that is pre-grid, which is how all of our sessions are done, it won't let you. It acts as if you're not eligible for the session. It'll be blacked out for you where it should be green. So my best advice is to simply always use the Leagues Sessions tab. I'll show you that in a second, although I do want to point out we've got two cool practice sessions going on right now for our series. So thank you, Matt, and thank you, Andrew, for hosting some practice sessions for the Classic Majors 2.4. All right, but anyway, so that's enough of that. So a lot of people come here to hosted, and I would not do it that way. I would go to the League Sessions. Okay. The cool thing about League Sessions is that whether you're a member of the Major Series or any other series, it doesn't matter. This will show you all sessions that are scheduled into the future. Hosted doesn't do that for you. You can only see what's going on now in hosted. So the League Sessions shows you what's going on in the future, and it does it in your time. Okay, so all these times are Pacific time zone for me, but when you go to the League Sessions tab, it's going to show it to you in your local time. Very handy. If you're a member of multiple leagues, just check the drop down, and there you have it. You can see that our very first session starts at midnight this coming Sunday for me, right? 8 a.m. GMT or London time on Sunday morning is the first session of the week, and that's a practice session. A couple hours later, we have our first qualifying session, and a couple hours after that, we have our first glimpse of our support series, which is the Roar this week with the, I believe it's the Cadillac and the MX-5. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We've got two of those this week, but regardless, you can see all of the sessions here, and as you can see, there's a lot of them for each event. Now, one thing to keep a note of is that you won't see the races into the future, meaning Only thing you're going to see from the major series in the League Sessions tab right now is races for the Classic 2.4, the Classic Daytona 2.4. You won't see Daytona 500 sessions or Nürburgring sessions or Le Mans or anything. You will only see this race. And a couple reasons for that. Number one, it would become overwhelming to have that many sessions pre-scheduled. And number two, we don't set the weather until 3 weeks before the event or when registration is announced. So don't really want to create every session and then go back in and edit every session for the weather. So you'll only see the current events sessions, okay? But even so, that takes up 3 or 4 pages on the League Sessions tab. Okay, gives you an idea. And again, if you get towards the end of that, you can see that the races are scheduled as well, and you can see that there's 144 minutes. That's the length of the race. There's no qualifying session because we pre-grid you. You can see the time that the session opens, your local time. So the Pacific region opens at 4 o'clock p.m. my time. The Atlantic session opens at 11 o'clock a.m. my time. You'll also notice that when we have forecasted that there are more than one split in a region, and for this particular race we're forecasting at least one split in international, at least 2 splits in both Pacific and Euro, possibly 3 in those 2 splits, in those 2 regions, excuse me, and 2 splits. There'll be 2 splits in Atlantic. I can't see that going to 3. So when we forecast that there's going to be more than one split, we'll schedule them both. And the way that you can tell that a session is a split 1 or pro, split 2, 3, etc., is based on the start time. So this is just a little guide that if it's the pro split, it's going to start on the hour, top of the hour. So this is the pro split for European region. It launches at 7 a.m. my time. That would be 3 p.m. in London. And that is the pro split. At 7:01 a.m., 1 minute later, is the second split. Okay, and if there was a third split, which I haven't scheduled yet, but we may yet have to, it will be at 7:02. That's for both the driver and broadcasters to be able to differentiate the splits. Now, as a driver, when you are placed on a grid and the sessions become live, it'll either be black or green. And if it's black, you're not eligible, and if it's green, you are. Once again, you have to join race sessions from the League Sessions tab. For whatever reason, the hosted tab doesn't allow you to do it. So I know I talked about that for a while, but I think it's important. And again, this is so handy. I would just utilize this. So that's the first most important step, is to be a member of the league on iRacing itself. Now, on race day, you have to also be a member of the Discord server. So let's talk about that for us. All right, so here we are in the Discord server for the major series, and if you haven't joined it yet, you can do so by going to the PacificMajors.com website and clicking on Discord. It'll take you there, so that is good. And you need to be, because we have our drivers meetings in the Discord server. Now, why do we utilize the Discord server for drivers meetings? Well, the first and most important reason is necessity. With more than one split, most leagues or hosted sessions are just one race, one split, and so you can have a meeting inside the race itself. But with ours, even for a large race like this one with 60 cars in the grid potentially, we're still going to have more than one split in at least 3 of the 4 regions. For races like the Daytona 500 coming up and some of our short track events like at Phoenix with the Silver Crown, we could have anywhere from 5, 6, 7 splits in a region. Well, there's no way practically for me to do a driver's meeting with all 7 splits unless we do it in the same place, and so that's where the Discord server comes in. Now, the other neat thing about the Discord server, and people are really starting to embrace it, is that I'll go over some of the benefits of being a Discord server. So number one, we've got a chat here. Right? This is our general chat. People can ask questions. We answer them. They can talk. They can BS, whatever. So it's just a good time. We've also got places for announcements in this series. So this is stuff that only the admins have access to. So if I post something here, you can see it. It's not cluttered. Updated the fact that we had an incident cap for this race at 40. etc. You also have specific rooms that you have access to only. So whatever club you are from, you'll have access to that room. Okay, so if we scroll down, you can see all the different clubs. Okay, so there's a chat room from a text perspective and a chat room a um, from a voice perspective. So if you're not on a team, you can use the club channel if you like. But most of our drivers that are really getting the most out of this application are members of teams. And if you look here, you've got these broken up into the regions. So Atlantic teams, European teams, international teams, and Pacific teams. If you expand that, again, you can see the little lock symbol next to all these. That means those are private. You have to be given role access to them. And so if you're a member of the Wicked Chassis team, you need to be given granted access to it. Okay, the best thing to do is to get in here early and be part of the Discord channel so that we can get you moved over. If you're doing this on race day and you sign up for Discord and you get it all installed 5 minutes before the drivers meeting, you'll be able to participate in the drivers meeting. That's good, but you won't. We won't have time to switch you into your club or team channels, and therefore you may miss out on some really handy stuff. Because again, you may have team members that are racing in either different regions or different splits within a region, and this is a way for you to communicate if you don't have your own Discord server or your own TeamSpeak server or whatnot. So hopefully it's just a helpful thing, and I think it's going to become more and more utilized for team stuff as we go along. But regardless, you'll want to meet here in the Pacific Majors or Major Series Discord room for drivers. You can connect here. When you connect to the drivers meeting, which is be held 15 minutes before the race, you're muted, so only admins can speak, and that's so that everybody's not talking over each other. But you're more than welcome to ask questions. You can do that in the general channel. So you can be in a voice channel and a text channel at the same time. So if you're in the drivers meeting voice channel, you'll still be in a text channel you choose. If you're in the general one, you ask a question, we'll see it and we'll answer it. That way it's orderly and it can go quickly and get everybody back to the race, which is what everybody wants to do. So that's kind of neat about the Discord server. The other cool thing about the Discord server is that all of our broadcast partners, well, at least 3 of the 4 for sure, utilize Discord in some capacity for their broadcasts. So I know GSRC and V8s Online especially utilize it for their race communications, for post-race interviews, pre-race interviews, and when they do so, in-race interviews. Right? If they have an in-race driver reporter that they're utilizing, that could be done through Discord. So if you're in the Discord server, you finish the race, you're in the top 3, you want to get interviewed, bam, just click over to the GSRC channel, which you'll need to go to as well. But you'll need to go to the GSRC channel, and there you have it. And they have their ready for interview room, just like they do on their TeamSpeak. You click on that, you'll be muted, and they can drag you into the interview area when they're ready, if they want to interview you. Makes it really handy. So it's one application, sort of a one-stop shop. So 2 really important things before race week starts is that you're a member of the league on iRacing and that you have your Discord all set up and ready to go. Really, really, really strongly recommend that. After you have started completing sessions, like you've participated in some practice sessions, or maybe you've run your qualifying time or whatever, and you want to find out how you're doing, well, we're going to post those results regularly and all over the place. But if you want to see the official rundown, you come to the Majors website, pacificmajors.com, and you go to Results tab. And one of those is live qualifying. Now, right now, because qualifying hasn't started, what you see is the registrations. Okay, so if you haven't seen this yet, it's kind of handy and it's helpful. It shows you who has registered for the event. It shows you what vehicle they've chosen, and it shows you how many in each region. So it gives you an idea of how many splits you might have to prepare for as a driver. Okay, and also if you scroll through this list and you don't see your own name, then that's an indication to sign up. So make sure that your name is on that list if you're planning to race. As you can see, we've got over 100 registered in both the European and Pacific regions, and expect those numbers to grow as the week goes on, even next week, because people who will just happen to see the league sessions pop up and that'll be their queue. Oh gosh, yeah, I forgot I need to sign up. So expecting at least 2 completely full splits in the European and Pacific region. One nice size split in international. We'll probably pick up another 10 drivers or so, so that'll be a really nice split. And then 2 decent sized splits in the Atlantic region. So right now we'd be looking at like 40 and 40 if it stayed as it was, and expect that to grow by a little bit. So that gives you an idea of who's what. But once race week starts and we start practicing and qualifying, what this will be replaced with is the actual results. And you'll see it broken down by region. You'll see forecasted minimum speeds for both the Pro Split and overall. You will see cutoffs for Pro Split based on time. All of those things will be updated. Now the sessions last for 6 hours at a time, so they run 4 times, the practice sessions anyway, run 4 times a day. And at the conclusion of each of the practice sessions, we'll post the results here as quickly as we can. So it won't be necessarily instantaneously, it's not automatic. But myself or one of the other admins will post the results, and they will appear here so you can keep track of how you stand versus now. Also planning on doing some live timing quite a bit throughout the week so that you can just see how things are going in a particular session. If you have made your qualifying time and you're watching the results and you see that, gosh, I'm going to be close to making that top split, or oh man, am I going to be pole or not? You have a specific goal you're going for, and you want to know how somebody else is doing in real time. We may have the live timing page going at that moment. We may not. If you want to watch the session as it goes, you can do it 2 ways. You can join the session on the service, but that's not my recommended way. Number one, that takes up a spot. And while we have enough sessions, that should not be an issue. But you hate to do that. Number two, if you join a session, it does not count as a qualifying attempt for you unless you complete a lap. So if you go out there and you messing around and you complete a lap in a qualifying session, it now becomes your session. If that was after your first attempt, it becomes your attempt now, right? So just be careful of that. I wouldn't join them live as a participant. What I would do is use the spectator method, which if you're not familiar, you can simply go to Watch Ghost Cruise Spot and find league races. Click on that and you'll find our sessions up and running. And you can spectate from there. Don't interfere with anybody else. They don't even know you're there. You can see what's going on. So that would be the way that I would keep track in real time. And believe me, as we get down to Saturday and everybody is scrambling to see where they stand and what split they're going to be in and how everybody else is doing and how does the Pacific region stack up against the international or European versus the international, whatever the case may be, those are going to be interesting talking points for everybody. People are going to be watching these things. So that's your best way to do it, is to go through, either use a live timing that we'll have set up here when it's running, or utilize the spectator mode on the iRacing service. So that is pretty much race week in a nutshell, although it was far from a nutshell, wasn't it? Again, we take our race week real seriously. My goal for your week is that it is simply the most satisfying experience that you ever have in sim racing, right? The whole week, from the first day through the race, you say to yourself at the end of the day deal, man, that was awesome, right? I can't wait to do it again. And it's more than just the race itself. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope it was helpful.